back to Kingdom Creator Connective Collective. And today we're going to talk about multiplication. You need to create an idea that can be multiplied. This is something that can become a movement. Remember how I said zone of genius? A lot of you are sitting on multiple talents. I'm a Christian, you're going to get this, Jesus. That there's a scripture in the Bible that talks about the group of men that had talents. Somebody was going to pay them to take each of these groups of talents and multiply them. These were actually bags of money. How are they going to take this money and multiply it? There's also a scripture in the Bible, Genesis 1:28, that talks about a breakdown of something being blessed, broken, divided, multiplied, and then delegated. How can you take what you've created, what you're passionate about, and multiply it? I want you to sit down and make a list. What are you good at? When you have written down that list, I want you to think of career fields that have to do with all the things that you're good at, that combine all of those things. Why am I telling you this? Because in taking that knowledge of what that zone of genius, that central point that connects all the things that you're good at already, you will be able to later use the multiplication of each of those things, because each of them individually will become their own stream of income for you. And they will be directly aligned with each other. I'll never forget watching a video. It was a short that was on Instagram, came up by a person that was on a panel for one of these events. And they were saying the problem that they had was they had 3 things that were completely separate, or 5 things that were completely separate from one another. And they were trying to build each thing separately because they were passionate about it. But they were not figuring out what it was that made these things align with one another. It was when they sat down and determined the things that were aligned with each other. There's such a thing that's called vertical product scaling and then horizontal product scaling. So the horizontal product scaling are a bunch of products that are aligned with one another that easily work with each other. Perfect example, food. If you are into food, what are you going to sell in alignment with food? What do you see a majority of cooks do once they go into food? They start selling you dishes, cookware, bakeware, thisware, thatware. They come out with a whole line of food products. That's horizontal sales. Up, meaning vertical sales, meaning these things aren't exactly adjacent to each other, but they go up the line. You hear what I'm saying? You need to figure out what that is in relation to that thing that you are trying to do. Because when you figure out that zone of genius that brings these things together, you have now determined what your streams of income will be when you do start desiring to make money out of these things. How are you bringing these areas together? Because then that'll be a stream of income that I'm gonna sit on this for 9 months. I'm gonna work on this area. Then I'm gonna work on this area for another 9 months. Then I'm gonna work on this area for another 9 months. Then I'm gonna work on this. Next thing you know, you got a entire set of a line of products. You think Tabitha Brown ended up in Target with 4 different lines of products? And let me tell you, that was vertical sales. How was that vertical sales? Because she went from food to houseware to clothing merchandise, and it was a 4th thing that she got into. And those 4 areas, that's your vertical. Because they weren't ideally connected, but she brought them together. You see how that works? So what is it that you have already in your house that you can reproduce? Let's get back to this Jesus for a moment. The woman that lived in the house, she had a crude of oil and she started pouring. What is it that you can pour? Do you like to make bath and body scrubs? Okay, that's one product. Maybe you like body butters. That's product 2. Maybe you like lotions. That's product 3. Oh, what is that? A horizontal product scale. But I don't have any money to produce that. Go online and look at customizable things that you can pay a small entrance fee or they work in a way that you pay on the back end, meaning when you make the sale, they take 10%, 20%, 30%. Some of these people try to be shiesty and try to take 50% off your sales. When you first getting started, use it, but you move to the one that is going to take less of your sales. Or what you do is if you're selling it on Etsy or something like that, you give them the discount for the amount that you're not getting. Meaning if they took 30%, you're giving them a 30% discount. See how that works? So what are you doing? How are we operating out here? What's the development? I need you to start to think. Because when you start thinking, you'll start be able to do stuff. Because eventually you will get to the money. But right now we just playing around in the creativity and what you can do. But if you talk about it long enough, you'll start to be about it. You see how that works? Oh, okay. I'm going to come back. Until next time. Bye-bye.